Hello everyone, in this video we're going to see how to show the user's location on Google Maps. So basically we'll be creating an Android app and in that we'll be showing the user's location along with the address of the place that he is in. So I've just opened a new project on Android Studio with Google Map and this is the default page with the default code written in it which you get when you open a new project with Google Map. And when you use Google Maps for the first time in any Android Studio project, you have to make an ID on their website, Google website, and you'll be given an API key that you have to put. But I've already done all that. It's very simple. And after that, whenever you open a new project, this is the default code which you get with two methods: on create, which is usually there in every Android Studio project, and on map ready, where you have a Google map called mmap, which is embedded in our app. So the first thing that you should do is go to Android manifest.xml and add these two permissions. While the internet permission is not really required, but you should add. And the other permission that you should add is to access find location. And I'll show you why it's necessary. So we'll be making our app in here. So let's get started. So I'll be using a location manager called location manager and a location listener and locate called location listener. So a location manager, as the name suggests, manages the location, while the location listener listens for changes in the location of the user. So I've just declared them outside any methods, and remember that we'll be doing our coding in on map ready, not in on create like it's usually done, because we only want the app to do something when the map is ready, because we'll be showing the information on the map. So we'll go inside on map ready, and below mmap is equal to Google Map. I've already created location manager, so I'll say location manager is equal to this dot get system service and context dot location service. Now you can see that there's an error, which is because they're incompatible. We have to typecast it to location manager. Here we go. Now to the location listener, I'll say location listener is equal to new location listener, and as soon as you press enter, Android Studio implements the methods of the location listener. So the one we'll be dealing with is on location change. So whenever location listener sees a change in location, the location is updated and it comes in here in this method. So we'll be writing what we want to do with the new location inside here. But before that, and we should complete this by a semicolon. Now, before that, you have to ask for location updates. So you have to say location manager dot request location updates, and inside this it says string provider. So our provider is location manager dot GPS provider, comma the minimum time after which you want the location to be updated. So let's say 100, and the minimum distance you want after which you want it to be updated, let's say 1, and then our location listener. So now you can see that there's an error in this, and the error is because, and if I hover over it, you can see it says that the call requires permission which may be rejected by user. So basically our app will be asking the user whether it can use the GPS or not. So there's a chance that the user says no. So what do we do if the user says no? Because if we don't check that condition, our app will crash in the middle of an activity. So we have to handle that also. And one more thing is there. If I click on more, yeah, you'll see that furthermore, for permissions that are revocable with Target SDK version 23, client code must also be prepared to handle the calls, throwing an exception if the user rejects the request for permission at runtime. So we have to handle those cases. So the first thing, if build dot version dot SDK int less than 23, like it says, if it is less than 23, then what do we do? If activity compat dot check self permission. Android Studio suggests what we need automatically. So this comma manifest dot permission dot access find location. So while this is not equal to permission package manager dot permission granted, and inside here, and so this is the first thing we need to check, and after that we also need to check the same thing for the course location. So let's just copy that and we'll change it to course location. So here, and is not access course location. Yeah. So if activity compat dot check self permission, if the course location, to access course location, the permission is not granted, not equal to granted. So what do? We simply return. We don't check for anything anymore. And if the permission is granted, if those permissions are granted, then what we'll do, we'll say this location manager. So now we can request for location updates. So location manager dot request location updates, location manager dot GPS provider, minimum time which is 100, minimum distance which is 1, and location listener. Okay, so yeah, if build version dot SDK int less than 23, then we check if the permission for find location and course location is granted. If they are not granted, then we simply return. If they are granted, then we request for location updates. Now this is if the build version is less than 23. So in the else part, again we have to check whether permission is granted or not. So I'll say if context compat. So here we had activity compat, here we have context compat. So context compat dot same thing, check self permission, and then manifest this the context comma manifest dot permission dot access find location. So if this is not equal to package manager dot permission granted. So basically saying again, if the permission is not granted, then what we'll need to do. So if permission is not granted, then we need to say that activity compat dot request permission. Now we need to request permission and say this comma new string array of manifest dot permission dot access find location, and then the access the code, the request code, which is 1. So if it is not granted, then we need to request again for that. And in the else part, if it is granted, then I'll say location manager, the same thing. So I just copy it. Yeah. Now, one more thing we need to do is that we need to check from request permission result that what happened. So I'll be writing the code for that. So there's another method. So I'll be writing that above everything. So let's just write it here. So I'll say public void on request, or let's just say on request permission result, should be here on request. So we have public void on request permission request permission result and public void here we go, all public void on request permission result here. So checking about this, let's just remove this. So here we need to check for the permission what happens. So if request code is 1, which is here, request code is 1, then we need to say what happened. So if grant results dot length is greater than 1, greater than 0, and grant results of 0 is equal to package manager dot permission granted. So basically a way of saying if the permission is granted, then again if context compat dot check self permission, and then the same thing, this comma manifest dot permission dot access find location. And now if we want to say if this is equal to package manager dot permission granted, so if the permission is granted, then again we need to request location updates. So where was it? Yeah, again we need to check for location updates. Just yeah. So inside our on request permission results, we checked if request code is equal to 1, then if grant results dot length is greater than 0 and grant results dot of 0 is that the permission is granted, then again if context compat dot check self permission, meaning that if the permission for access find location is granted, then request location updates. So all the handling thing is done. Now we can get to the real part, which is actually coding how to show the location of the user. So here we have already, yeah, sorry I had to pause, there was some noise in the background. Yeah, so after checking all the cases, if the user gives the permission or not, we did location method.request location updates, and this now we're going to code how to show the location. So first thing first, initially when the map opens up, we want to show the last known location of the user. So for that, we're saying location and last, and let's just say location. Let's call it location is equal to location manager dot get last known location, and then location dot get latitude, or actually this is fine, location dot GPS provider, location manager dot GPS provider. So with this, the last known location of the user is now inside this variable location. Now we want to put the marker in this location, but know that the marker can be put on a point which is defined by latitude and longitude. But location is a whole thing which has address and a lot of other data which we don't want. We only want the longitude and latitude. So we're going to extract the latitude and longitude from the location. So we're going to say lat long. So this is lat long is a type of point defined by latitude and longitude. So I'll just call it, say, user location. So lat long user location is equal to new lat long, and here double V should be the latitude, and double V1 should be the longitude. And the latitude and longitude, as I said, should be taken from the location. So I'll say location dot get latitude, comma, location dot get longitude. Here we go. So now user location is a point having a latitude and a longitude which we took from location, which we took from the last known location of the user. Now simply when the map opens up, so what happens when our app opens up? In a sequential order, our app opens up and we check for the permission. If the permission is granted, we come here, and here we ask for location updates. But before the location is updated, we want to put a marker on the map, and for that we're getting the last known location of the user, and on that we're going to put the marker in. So let's put the marker. So for that we have to say mmap dot add marker. Here we go, and say new marker location, new marker options, and then the position, and the position is the user location, which is the latitude and longitude dot the title. So what is the title of the marker? So we can call it user location. So when you tap on the marker, this title will show up. And then mmap dot move camera. So using this line of code, we'll focus on the marker. So say camera update factory dot new lat long. Then inside that the user location again. So now our app opened up. We checked for permission. If the user says yes or if the user says no, we handle that. Now, thinking that the user said yes, we added the marker from the last known location. And before we add the marker, we have to clear the map in case there was another marker before. So we cleared the map if there was any other marker before, and then we added a new marker on the last known location of the user. So this is done. Now the main thing, as I said, which we're going to do on location change. So location is the new location. I'll just write that down. Location being the variable. Now we have to do the same thing. We have to clear the earlier marker. So map.clear. If the location is changing, we clear the first marker. Then we do the same thing. We say latitude longitude user location is equal to new location, and from that we get the latitude and longitude. Okay, so it should be in here. Yeah, on location change. So I cleared the map, and location, from the location I made a user location. From the location I got the latitude and longitude, and again I have to put the marker. So as the variable names are same, I can just copy this. So I'll just copy this right here, and here we go. Oh no, I keep coming back to this. Yeah, here on location changed. So as soon as the location changed, location is our new location. So as soon as the location changed, we cleared the first marker, then we got the latitude and the longitude of the new location, and we added a marker to that place. So using this, we have shown the address, we have shown the position of the user. Now I also said that we'll be showing the address of the user. Now to do that, we'll be using a geocoder. So a geocoder is like used for that. I'll show you, you'll understand how it works. So geocoder and get application context, comma locale dot get default. Yeah, and the semicolon. So we use the geocoder, and then we'll have a list of address. Address will have the information of the locality, the country code, the state, city, etc. We'll have a list of address. We'll call it a list anyways, and we'll say that geocoder dot get from location, and location dot get latitude, comma location dot get longitude, comma 1, which is the max result. Now, yeah, and as you can see, it shows that you have an unhandled exception, IO exception. So for that, you need to add try catch. So just hover over there and surround with try catch. And so Android Studio added it for us, so that's not a problem. Okay, did I add the semicolon there? Yeah, I did. Okay, now so list of 0 contains our address now. So we have to check if list address list not equal to null. So basically list has our address now. I just used a list because there might be multiple addresses, but here we will only have one address, which will be at list of 0. So if list not equal to null, meaning that list is not empty, and list dot size is greater than 0. So if list is not equal to null and list dot size is greater than 0, then meaning that there is some address in there, then we'll extract the information from the address and we'll be putting that in a string. So I'll call the string as address itself, and initially it will be just null, empty. So if list dot get 0, which will have our address, dot get admin area. So admin area is the area, like we're extracting the area from the location. So if list dot get 0 dot get admin area, if that is not equal to null, meaning that there is some admin area, then we'll add that to our address. So address plus equal to list dot the same thing. Let's just copy it. List dot get 0 dot get admin area. Yeah, so if the admin area of the address is there, and I'm sorry I keep pausing, there's a lot of noise around this place. So if there's an admin area to that address, we just add it to our string. So the same thing as I said, we'll be copying this simply, no problem. So let's just copy this. So we copied list.get0.get admin area, and if list.get of 0 dot get locality not equal to null. So if there's a locality associated with that area, then again we'll add that to our address string. And in the end, we'll be showing the address string. So we'll be copying this. This dot get 0 dot get locality. Yeah. And the final thing which I'll add is that I can add if list dot get 0 dot get, and you can see that there's a lot of information that you can get from the address. So I'll get, say, thoroughfare. Let's try thoroughfare. Yeah, dot get thoroughfare. Again, the same thing. If it is not equal to null, then add that to our address. So address plus equal to list dot get 0 dot get thoroughfare. Here we go. Now everything is done basically. Now we have our address, which now a string address has everything. So I'll be making a toast to show the toast dot make test dot maps activity dot this, which is the context, comma toast dot length, which is short, and dot show. There seems to be something. Oh yeah, I forgot the message itself. So that is address. Yeah. So, and if you don't know what toast is, toast is basically you put a message inside toast and it pops up in the app. So we making like a toast. So we'll be making a toast where we have the text of address. So that's it. Basically everything is done. So I'll just connect my phone and I'll see if it works in my phone and I'll be uploading. Yeah, I just connected my phone. So I'll upload the rest of my video from the phone to show you how the app works. Okay, so I'll upload the rest of the video and I'll join it from my phone to show you how the app works.